Today I'm going to make some Italian meatballs, and I purchased a little over 2 pounds of chopped meat, 87% and 13% sirloin beef, and I am right now separating the chopped meat so that in a few minutes I will be adding the ingredients in a very even way, and that is the trick to my meatballs. The spices are distributed evenly over the chopped meat. So now it is all spread out in a very even fashion. And I wash my hands a lot in between. And you will notice that because I don't like to transfer any potential problems with the meat onto my spices. So, quickly washed my hands, and now I will start with onion powder, which I will sprinkle evenly over the meatballs. And I go over it once, then I go back, and then I do a little zip, and I'm done. So I would say about 3 shakes. Then I take garlic powder, and I do the same, very evenly distributing the garlic powder 2.5 to 3 times. And same with pepper, although with pepper I'll only go over it once. Because if it's too peppery, it will have not a good taste. Salt is iodized. This is just a Stop and Shop brand. Will again be put on evenly. And I go over it once and then a little zip and a half. Too much salt will ruin the meatball. The next ingredient that I will use, is plain breadcrumbs, and I will again evenly distribute a fair shake of my wrist once and then maybe 2 times. Close it up, and now the secret ingredient is eggs. I would say that I will use approximately 4 eggs for these 2 pounds. I need a bowl to mix the eggs. And when I open an egg, I'm very careful to do 1 egg at a time, just in case any of the eggs have a problem. So, number 1, number 2, always, of course, checking for shells. 3, and 4. We'll start with that. If I need more, I can certainly add. I think we're okay with the shell factor. And we put this to the side. And again, we're in between, so I now again wash my hands after it has been put into the pot. Okay, so now, voila, we have our chopped meat, spices evenly spread, breadcrumbs, eggs are ready to go. I pick up my tin foil. I use tin foil so that you could spread it evenly. And then you can throw it out so as not to. Now that is what you're not supposed to do. Drop it on the counter. So as you see, I dropped some, but I will not put that in. We'll just have to lose that little portion. And that's good. That was a little problem. Now I stir. Now I've lost some of my chopped meat, so hopefully my eggs were okay. But a way to remedy that, if it's a little too wet, guess what? Use breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs will save the day. But look, it's looking pretty good. Might have to, looks a little wet. So the result will be to add a little more breadcrumbs. Again, because we lost some of the meat. But I was being very careful because of the transfer of possible microbes from the counter into my meatballs. Now, has to be completely stirred without having a problem. Now, the way to completely make sure, again, wash hands. I'm going to another dish that I'm making. One trick to making sure that spices are evenly distributed is to actually use your hands for mixing. But again, making sure that they are completely clean. So I'm mixing rather, and eventually I will start to make the meatballs. And some people like them large, some like them mini, and some like them medium. I tend to go for the small to medium size. I find that people like that better. So I'm going to now start to, first I need to stir my sauce that I'm making. Okay, see, I took that much and I am now making it into a bowl. Plop. Make it into a bowl. Plop. You don't actually have to plop, but it gives me some satisfaction at the end of preparing my meatballs to go plop. And luckily, and hopefully you don't miss the dish while you're doing the plop. People like my meatballs, and I think it's because the distribution of the spices. People tend to put the chopped meat in a bowl and then season it. But the reality is, not every piece of the meat gets seasoned properly. And they become either dry, they become too spicy, all kinds of things. You never can go wrong with them, especially when you're putting them into a sauce, which I'm also preparing there. And I'm waiting to fry the meatballs because the meatballs make the sauce richer. In addition, perhaps, to using other types of meat. I made braciole today. That is a piece of steak, per se, with seasoned breadcrumbs, garlic, onion powder, salt, and pepper, as well as fresh garlic. Almost done. My meat is going to be turned now by my assistant because I'm trying to do a few things at once. A fork could be used, yes. Almost done with the meatballs. It's making a nice little batch here. And as you see, the consistency is not dry. It is not wet. It is plop, just perfect. Trying to squeeze out the last few. It's nice having a recipe that everyone enjoys. And this is the last baby. Plop. Okay, what am I doing now? Washing my hands. Now we are going to fry the meatballs. So we're going to bring them over to the stove. Now, I put about an inch and a half perhaps of oil in the pot. And in the pot, I also put some ingredients. Chopped up onions, I would say 2 large ones. Basil, fresh of course, and fresh garlic. And I put my meatballs in. Now we need to cook this at a low flame because if you cook them at a high flame, the outsides will get done, but not the insides, thereby risking them to be undercooked, and that would not be good. You notice I have the cover on. I'm going to now fry them at a low flame. Once again, I touch the meatballs, wash my hands, because while they're cooking, I have to do a cleanup here. So that will take at least 15 to 20 minutes to be safe on the safe side, but we'll sort of time it. It's now 1:07. Let's see how long it takes. Now it's time to turn the meatballs. So I got a spoon and I just flip them over. And they look a little golden brown on the other side. So it's 10 minutes that I turn them. Now I turn them. I have some other meat in here, so I'm going to flip that as well. It's brajol, as I talked to you about it before. Interesting piece of meat. Okay. So now I'm going to put back the cap, the top rather, and just wait another 10 minutes. Now I'm going to check one of my meatballs to make certain that it is cooked inside. So I put a little bit of a cut in one of them, and that helps me to see if it's cooked. Perfectly cooked. So we are just about done. We take one out. Two. That's the baby one. And here's my third. And they are ready to go. And that's how we make Lisa's homemade Italian meatballs. Thank you.